and Yuri Tielemans had admitted that life is tough at Leicester right now, with the club bottom of the Premier League. They have only picked up a single point from their opening 7 matches. Let's hear from their boss, Brendan Rodgers, who vowed to fight for his job when speaking to talkSPORT after Saturday's 6-2 defeat to Spurs.
We've had a tough run of games, our first 7 games after the summer and everything. You know, we've got Tottenham away and Arsenal away, Chelsea away, Man United at home. So it's been a tough run for us. But I think after the international break, there's a run of games where we can pick up points. I'm not daft as well. You know, it's as you say, it's 6 defeats, and it's not good reading. That's the reality. However, we're still fighting. We're still very much together. And like I say, we've got a game after the international break against Nottingham Forest, which is a huge game at home. And we get to win there, that'll give the players a huge shot of confidence. And if we played like we did tonight and not give away the soft goals, then these players, the team will climb the league.
OK, he mentioned their next game. It's on Monday, the 3rd of October. It's at home to rivals Nottingham Forest. You can listen to it live on Game Night right here on talkSPORT. That is a huge fixture. It is a huge fixture. The next few games after that, they've got Bournemouth away, and they've got Palace at home, and then they've got Leeds at home. 22 goals conceded in 7 games. Andros, what do you think's going wrong for Leicester at the moment?
I think it's been difficult for them. I think they were in a similar position to we were at Everton last year in terms of being hamstrung by financial fair play, not being able to sign players. They had the Fofana situation, which didn't get resolved until the last few days of the window. So it's been a tough start for them. And add to that the difficult start they've had the season and the top teams that they've had to face. It's been a tough start. But I hope that the owners see beyond, obviously, the media nonsense about sack Rodgers and this and that, and put all these situations into consideration and give him the relevant time he needs to get Leicester out of the situation they're in.
You would think so, because it's quite well documented that he has a great relationship with those owners, and they are owners that really care about the club and a great history with that club as well. Ali, it's just such a difficult situation that they find themselves in.
Of course it is. But if MD's earned a little bit of time, it's somebody like Brendan Rodgers. I mean, they won the FA Cup, what was it, 2019, they beat Chelsea, and then very unlucky not to finish in Champions League places a couple of times. I think there's a couple of 5th place finishes. Then this is Leicester City we're talking about. You know, we're not talking Manchester United, you know, Chelsea. I think they've been fabulous over the past 4 or 5 years. And obviously you got back that little bit further where they gave us one of the greatest stories of all time. So, you know, Leicester fans, it's going to be really, really tough for them. But you would hope the vast majority of them will stick and stick with the team and stick with the club, because I think they would appreciate they've overachieved the last 6-7 years. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And they've had some fantastic times. So you find out about a lot of people, the fans included, when things aren't going so well. And I look at the Leicester side, Andros, and I think you know their players they've got far too good a group of players to be in that position. Yeah. And I would expect them defensively to get themselves sorted out and start climbing the league. However, that next game, oh dear me, Forest, man, what a game.
But I think it's a false position at the moment. We're only 6 or 7 games into the season. They've played all the top sides. I think the month of October really is the month where they've got fixtures that they're going to look at and think, right, we need to win those. We can win those. They're winnable fixtures. So I think after the month of October, you'll see Leicester in a more normal position in the league. I've no doubt of it.
Yeah, you're right. They played Tottenham last, which was the 6-2 thumping. They played Brighton before that, who are currently sitting quite high at the top of the table. Leicester then played Manchester United. That was a 1-0 loss. And the opening game of the season for them, I think it wasn't the opening game of the season, but Chelsea was the game before that. So you're right. They've had some tricky fixtures, and they've had to deal with players that are forcing moves out, Ali.
Absolutely, and I keep saying it and I keep harping on about it. The loss of the goalkeeper as a figure on and off the pitch, I think's probably hit them a lot more, and hit Brendan Rodgers and his team a lot more than they thought, because he was such an influential character in and around that football club. The one thing I would say, I know you mentioned that Man United game was 1-0. the one thing I do think, although they're losing goals, generally speaking, they do score. I mean, I know they've been beaten 6-2, 5-2, I think 4-2 as well, but they've got players in their team that can score goals. I always believe you get a chance if you get players that can score goals. If you can get yourself organised defensively, particularly at set plays, and all you can do there is that's just going out in the training ground, doing shape, setting yourself up against set plays, then you've got a chance. I think they'll be okay, I really do. I expect to see a turnaround, but again, mention it again, that next game against Forest, Andros, wow.
I wanted to also read you, just to back up that really as well. Dave Kidd has, in his article today, page 69 in The Sun, he said, with back-to-back fifth-place finishes and an FA Cup triumph in 2021, Rodgers has been the most consistently successful manager of a non-elite club for a generation. Of course, he says about what happened to Leicester was ridiculous. The title win in 2016, amazing achievement. But he said no other side from outside the Big Six has even finished in the top four since Everton in 2005. And that was before Manchester City got rich and there were even a Big Six.
That's my point. That's what I said. I mean, with greatest respect, Leicester fans must be pinching themselves the 7 years they've had. I mean, they couldn't have dreamed about 7 years that they've just had. Winning the title obviously was just absolutely ridiculous. But even after that, to maintain that level of consistency against teams who have got, far more financial backing, and generally speaking, everybody would expect them to do better. Your Liverpool, your Man City, your Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, all these teams, Man United. Leicester have competed exceptionally well with those teams for the last 6-7 years. I say the 2 fifth place finishes and indeed the FA Cup win. It's been a remarkable story, and I just think the very least that Brendan Rodgers deserves is an opportunity to see this through.
I think what Ali said is he hit the nail on the head. It's the level of consistency. I think when they won the league, it was a freak. It was a fluke, not a fluke. It was a freak that will never happen again. But for what he's done, to consistently mix it with the big boys has been incredible. And I think it was similar to Everton. Everton were creeping close to the big boys, and all of a sudden financial fair play comes up, and the same's happening to Leicester now. But I think we have a problem in this country. We write teams off far too early in the season. We did it last year with Arsenal when they lost their first 3 games. We did it with United this season, and they're flying high in fifth all of a sudden. So I don't think you should write off this Leicester team at this stage of the season. It's
almost like, guys, they've become victims of their own success in a way, isn't it? Because the expectation under Brendan became so high that we thought this team looks brilliant and they've got to finish top 4. And then when they fell away twice, even despite the fact there's an FA Cup in there as well, or in addition to that, in fact, the expectations suddenly become so much higher. And then when you get a slump like this, I think you're right, Andros. I think it is so early to judge this Leicester side. They need to settle. They need to see what life is like without those players, Kasper Schmeichel and Wesley Fofana. And if you're not going to replace them like for like, there is inevitably going to be a slump there. It's going to happen. But you're right. I just hope, I really do hope that the managers just hold on to hold their nerve a little bit longer and just see how this pans out. But Ali, it's a tricky balance, isn't it? Because if you get yourself into trouble early on in the season, there was a stat yesterday about teams in this position that inevitably will go down.
I think there's only 4, wasn't there, out of many? I can't remember the exact statistic. Listen, what you've got to say to balance it up, they're in an unacceptable position. Absolutely. At 1 point after 7 games, that is unacceptable. Having said that, again, you look at the start they've had, and it has been really, really tough. The real test and what will happen, and what watch developments will be the next 3 or 4 games, the ones that you mentioned. I mean, Forest are fighting for their lives. And I think you mentioned, did you say Bournemouth, Palace and Leeds? These are games that in normal circumstances you would fully expect Leicester to pick points up. They're now at a stage where they're going to have to pick points up in these games.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.